At the time of this recording, Aatrox is meh. So I thought, I've seen a lot of the guides on YouTube at the moment, and they're pretty crap or non-existent for actually fast bosses. They explain how to do minimal gear, but realistically, unless you are literally just trying to do it for a turn, minimal gear is going to be incredibly boring and very, very slow. Which is why I'm creating this very quick guide, just to show a pretty laid back, in my opinion, and enjoyable way of doing it, but still getting under 30-second bosses consistently. But one of the best things, in my opinion, especially as it's just during Aatrox, is that most of the items required for this you probably have laying around anyway if you're somewhat close in the late game. Without further ado, I'll just get into it now. Timestamps will be low if you want to skip to a specific part of the video. As you can see, I'm in game now. And the method that I'm talking about is right-click mage, which a lot of people detest or think is really cringe, whatever, but it works and it is just the best method if you don't want to invest billions in a one-time purchase in Crimson, which may give you more magic find, but in my opinion, slows the boss and slows the spawn time for the average person. At the top end, sure, it's a bit faster, but it's not really worth it. The reason I think this is that it's a lot of money to spend just on one thing, because Crimson, especially in Magic Find Vet, is very hard to use in Blaze, especially for a beginner, because you need the Vitality. And then it can't really be used for much else other than Voidglooms and Blaze. Maybe the other Slayers, but who really cares about them? So with Aurora, it's really useful for things like Kudra, and as well as that, like just normal everyday life in the Crimson Isle. And RCM outside of dungeons is really handy. So my Aurora isn't nothing flash, it's just fiery, with Breeze 8, Mana Pool 8. I think the main points is the Mana Vampire, that helps a lot, and obviously the little enchants like Smarty Pants, Reflection, they're useful, give you a little bit more mana. With the goggles, you need Refrigerate 5 for survivability. The 1000 defense it gives you is just so nice, really, really useful. Now, as for equipment, it's pretty similar. I've mostly just got Breeze Mana Pool pieces. Haven't spent that much on them. You really don't need to. I would just focus on getting mana pool levels. That's all you really need. Now, all the actual gear you use fits in your hotbar really nicely with room for the Maddox. It's just simply a term. Ignore all the flashy enchants in this. It's max for Kudra. But all you need is stars and duplex 1 for the extra arrow. Then AOTV, obviously, just self-explanatory. Hype, important things to know about this are the Initialize 7 and the Execute 6. These help with damage a lot. I'm pretty sure they're the only enchants that help with damage. Technically Giant Killer 7 does, but it's so expensive I don't think it's worth it. It's what, like, I think about 200 mil right now. Yeah, 249 mil. Not worth it. Now, 5 Wand, pretty cheap, does a lot of damage, would recommend. One of Atonement, again, it's cheap and it helps sometimes if you're for whatever reason get low on health. SOS Flare, really, really helpful if you have Blaze 7, but if you don't have Blaze 7, it doesn't really matter. You can use an Overflux or a Plasma Flux, they work just fine, but the mana regen you get is really important, so get 1 of 3 of those deployables. And then finally, Atomsic Katana is not necessary in terms of you can do it with one below it if you're on a budget, but it's really helpful for the Frosty when you're doing the proc of the ability and then shooting with explosive arrows. Now, finally, but arguably the most important, is the G-Drag and the 1 mil bank. This obviously helps with damage. My G-Drag has a remedies on it at the moment. Do not use the remedies. Use a Shelmet or, in my opinion, the Lucky Clover or what's the other one? The Minus Relic is the best of the magic finds. You can use an E-Drag. I was testing it earlier. I don't have any more, but it's slightly slower than the G-Drag. So I think if you've got good stats, then the G-Drag is just better. Now that's enough about the gear. I don't think there's any physical things you need to buy other than what I've just said. But what's really important is Alchemy 50, and more importantly than that, Enchanting 60. This just gives you free ability damage and free intel, and it helps a lot. But above all else is the combat level, which of course helps with every aspect of the game. But combat 60, it does affect the magic damage, so if you see me doing more damage than you and you're not combat 60, that might be why. A couple last things before I start going through a demonstration of how I actually kill the boss. Pet rules wise, you're going to want to have one that when you start Slayercraft, it equips a Mythic Eman. gives more combat speed than Wolf, and it will speed up the spawning. And then when it spawns, you want your G-Drag or E-Drag or whatever pet you're using during the boss. And then finally, really handy mod that I use that helps with mechanical wise is dual gear. And the setting in dual gear that I use is remove selfie camera. It just means that there's no bit in between this and that, which means that when you're shooting the boss, you can be on first person mode, but then when you're hyping the boss, you can be in third person mode. And I find that really helps me, or at least when you're beginning, it will really help you hit shots more with the turn and not die when you're using this, as it gives more awareness. Now onto the actual boss itself. This mini boss will spawn it. First thing you're going to want to do is put down your SOS flare. Then as soon as the boss spawns, activate the Atom Split ability and just spam your turn. This will absolutely obliterate its hits phase, and then just hit it with a hype until it goes down to, hopefully if your damage is high enough, another hits phase. If it's not, then it will stop around the 140 mil range. So then it's really simple. All you do is just repeat again and again and again until the boss dies. If you ever get low, just use that atonement and then you're fine. Another quick tip is that when it's in the laser phase, really you should be pre-firing it. So I'll do another boss and I'll show you. See, I'm taking it slow now, so it's only 36 seconds. But I'll do it again in this one, and I'll try and do it in real time. You want to sort of pre-fire the boss when it's in the laser phase, so that you can properly get the hits phase done pretty much as soon as it spawns in. So you want to pre-fire the floor before the boss goes in. I'm lagging a bit at the moment. And then keep on going. Here, and now when it's in this phase, you want to shoot it before the phase is over, so about here. And then it will start hitting it as soon as the boss is out of the spinny phase and into the hits phase. Now, unfortunately, this lobby is really laggy, but it's fine. Now, you just repeat it again and again. If you're on E-Drag, I would recommend during this last phase here to swap to your other Magic Find pet. Now you see that was a really easy boss, wasn't focusing whatsoever. It's 29 seconds, so not bad. Now, these bosses are actually done with an Ender Relic, which is a bit excessive. Interesting, my PB was actually done without an Ender Relic, but I definitely recommend getting one if you have the money to. Couple quick notes about the clip you're watching at the moment, which is my PB. Notice how in every hits phase I'm pre-firing the boss. It does speed up things, and I'm as close as I possibly can be without the arrows exploding me, so that as soon as it's gone out of hits phase, I can damage it with a hype. I was perhaps a bit too far away in some of it, but remember to always pre-fire and be close to the boss. Another quick side note, I found that butterfly clicking doesn't actually help because there is a cooldown between hype abilities. So save yourself from carpal tunnel, you don't need to click that fast. So here is a quick list of some important information or FAQs, whatever you want to call it. I would recommend pausing the video here, having a quick read, or coming back to it before you ask any question in the comments to see if the answer you want is here. I just want to end by saying thank you very much for watching, of course. If you need to ask anything, ask in the comments. I'm probably a bit too active there. I've previously written essays to people. Hopefully some of the frequently asked questions have answered some parts of your comment, but if you need anything else, let me know. My IGN is in the top left there. If you need to message me or visit me for whatever reason, I will probably be in line. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Please like, whatever, and goodbye.